Okay, Pastor Steve Michael asks, is Acts 15:20 talking about actual blood? What's the reason behind this?
Okay, let me...
15:20.
I believe I know what he's talking about, but let me make sure.
Okay.
Okay, this is in the context of the Jerusalem Council, which was the apostles and the early church leadership dealing with the fact that Gentiles were coming into a relationship with Jesus. And there is a letter that these guys send, but before that they talk about what should be expected of the Gentiles. And in verse 18 it says, "Known to God from eternity are all his works. Therefore I judge that we should not trouble those from among the Gentiles who are turning to God, but that we write to them to abstain from things polluted by idols, from sexual immorality, from things strangled, and from blood." And then he gives the reason for that. "For Moses has had throughout many generations those who preach him in every city, being read in the synagogues every Sabbath." And basically what the church at Jerusalem is asking the Gentile converts to do is not offend Jews. That there are a number of Jewish groups in every city in the Roman Empire, and that the church wants to reach the Jews. And so there are things that Gentiles need to turn away from, not because it's a New Testament commandment, but because you don't want to stumble somebody who's Jewish. And it has to do with this stuff specifically. So you don't want to eat things polluted by idols. That's the idea of a Jew sees a Christian walking into the local Zeus temple and having a meal there. The Jews just have real problems with pagan idolatry, and so the fact that a Christian might look at that and go, well, it's not anything real, and it's just going to have a hamburger or whatever. They should get over it, and they don't get over it. And so if you want to reach a Jew, don't hang out in idols' temples. Things polluted by idols, from sexual immorality, and obviously that's something that everybody's supposed to be turning away from. But again, that's connected with idol worship. The pagans, a lot of times the pagan temples were places where occult prostitution took place. And so it's in connection with that. From things strangled, that has to do with Jewish food laws. And so, again, you want Jews in your fellowship. You don't want to be, you don't want to be just kind of taking the Jewish food laws and just doing exactly the opposite in front of a Jew. Again, you got to think of people's sensibilities. If I want to reach somebody who's Jewish, then I'm not going to do things that are going to cause them to have a real problem. And eating something that's been strangled, because the Bible talks about the fact that animals, before the meat is eaten, need to be bled, and that's kosher law. And so that's what he's speaking about. And then finally, from blood. And we don't really have a culture that's like that, but like stuff like blood pudding. I've never had blood pudding because it sounds gross, but
yeah, it does.
But there's Gentile cultures that just take blood and they use it for foodstuffs. And so all that James is saying in this passage is, let's not offend the Jews. That's all that he's saying. So,
all right.
Yeah, and the answer is, yeah, that's real blood that he's talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for posting, Mike. Appreciate it.